In today's episode of Manabonded, Zach discovers how dolphins actually treat other marine wildlife.
Who knew that cute little creatures could commit war crimes?
Josh gives advice on playing land destruction in Magic. Don't play those cards. Nate makes an exhilarating discovery as he enters the dating life.
Ladies like big dinosaurs too.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Manabonded, the best Magic the Gathering advice podcast for gardening tips. My name is Josh, I'm your host, and today I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Nate and Zach. Say hey, guys.
Hey guys,
It's springtime.
it's springtime.
And yet, you guys want to hear what the weather forecast is for the rest of my week? It's
What is that?
freezing cold. Let me check. Yeah, so it's going to rain tomorrow, rain on Wednesday, rain with a chance of overnight snow on Thursday, and then Friday warm back up.
Wild.
So we're getting to
That's
that
about the same
sweet
over
spot in spring where the cold fronts start to just oscillate back and forth over the lower 48 states where weather is just up in the air, you know?
It's true.
Which is crazy because recently it's been decently warm.
I know, it's been
Like,
so
pretty
nice. I've been
Yeah.
riding my electric scooter home from work, and it's been so nice. Like, it's such a dopamine rush to just be out in the sun and riding a little scooter. It's so nice. The serotonin is much needed in these times.
Yes,
Much needed in these times.
Yeah.
serotonin
truly
is
is.
great when you can get it.
I've thought about, like, seriously considered several times buying a motorcycle. Just because
Please
I
don't.
feel like I would love it. I get the safety concerns of it, but like the desire to just like ride my motorcycle through like a canyon road up to like a lake or something nearby.
Uh-huh.
Just that drive would be so gorgeous.
Yep,
Quit lying to our viewers. We all know the real reason. You want to feel the wind in your hair.
that's
I
right.
would. I feel the wind in my beard at least.
And you should only feel the wind in your beard because you're driving safely and wearing
Exactly.
a helmet.
A little bit of the beard will come out of the helmet,
Sure.
but everything else is all locked up tight. They have some real fancy helmets these days too.
They do.
It's almost like it's number one cause of death from a motorcycle crash.
Yeah,
True.
Probably head trauma.
yeah, it would
Yep.
do it.
And people wearing, as I've been lovingly told, it's called as their growbacks.
Grow bags.
The
Yeah,
what?
because when you crash in your normal kit, your protective gear, you have to replace it. Well,
Yeah.
if you crash without the protective gear, you just have to grow it back.
Oh,
So,
Oh, true.
I don't
calling your
like that.
growbacks.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I've been watching. This is probably part of what's really spiking my desire for a motorcycle right now. Is I've been watching this series on YouTube of these two guys who are currently attempting to drive motorcycles from the southernmost point in China all the way up to the northernmost point in China. Not quite the northernmost,
Nice.
but like up to the border of Mongolia, which is over 3,000 kilometers.
That's sick.
They are doing it with a couple rules in place. First of all, they can't use like freeways, like interstate freeways, because
Oh, wow.
those are banned in China. Motorcycles can't go on those. Which, can I say, if, on the off chance a U.S. lawmaker listens to this episode, can we do that here too? No motorcycles on freeways? State highways? Sure. Freeways? No. Anyway,
Yeah.
they're not allowed to use freeways, and they're not allowed to use their phones for navigation, and they're not allowed to use their phones for translation. They practiced their Chinese
Interesting.
for 6 months before doing this, and now their goal is to just get across China with
good luck.
whatever Chinese they know. They've made
That
it
is, of
about
course.
half. This is a developing series. Like, the newest episodes comes out daily. They've made it halfway so far, but it's just really cool to see
Impressive.
them like riding these bikes through China and seeing all the views and the sights, running into people that are just so cool and so friendly. Like, I think they ran into basically a funeral, I think. But they thought it was a restaurant, and so they were trying to ask when the food is or where
Oh,
the
I
food
saw
is.
this.
And the other guys were like, no, it's not till 5. And they're like, oh, we'll just leave. But the guy who's like, the funeral was for like his grandmother, basically, I think is what people were saying. Uh, they were like, no, just come over to my house. I will feed you. You know, come to my place. I'll chat with you guys. We'll have a great time. They ended up singing John Denver's Country Roads together because apparently that was his favorite English song. It was really, really amazing. But they did this series last year too. They did it last year, but they did Japan, and it was significantly easier for them to speak Japanese. But
to speak Japan.
Shut up.
Hello, I speak country Japan.
Mandarin is like leaps and bounds harder.
It's ridiculous.
So much harder. The tonality between certain words means that the wrong inflection can change from asking about a hotel to asking about a dictionary. And it's just so slight.
How you say the word is as important as what the word sounds like, the syllables in the word itself.
Yeah, like for us, saying the word "what's up" and "what's up," those are the same phrase. But in Mandarin, those sort of inflections and tonal differences would create an entirely new word or phrase. Just absolutely crazy. So
that is crazy.
Hats off to them.
Do that.
If you're interested in watching it, it is on Ludwig's channel on YouTube. They call it their Tip to Tip series. It's him and the Michael Reeves, another YouTube creator, both of whom are absolutely hilarious. I will warn, it's not family friendly watching all the time, but it's a lot of fun. They have a good relationship, and they have a real fun time traveling together, and it's fun to watch them.
That's pretty cool.
But that's probably driving my drive for a motorcycle, because I would love to do something just across the states, you know? Just say no freeways, and I want to go from Mexico to Canada. And, you know, stop in little hotels and chat with people and meet new people and all that stuff. So
you could do, if you wanted to have it connected to a magic thing, you could pretty easily be like, all right, where's 2 magic events that are not too far apart, but long enough that I could drive from one to the other?
I would love to. Oh my gosh, this would be incredible if we did like Gathering Across America, where we did a series where we road tripped from coast to coast and attempted to play a game of Magic with people in every state that we passed through. And intentionally took like detours to see like monuments and places of interest and museums, and also like play like, hey, we are headed to X area next. Who wants to play? And we hit that area, we play a couple games with them, and we hit the road again. Okay, guys, actually, straight up, this is an incredible idea, straight up, and I actually want to really do this.
What if we went to North Dakota and saw the original Lorwyn 5 headstones? That'd be cool.
Are they in North Dakota? What?
Yeah. That's where the original Lorwyn 5 were carved into the side of a mountain.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can totally go see
George Washington. That. Yeah, that's probably Jace Beleren.
Now, and hear me out. That's right. And hear me out. Abraham Lincoln and Sojani.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. Hear me out. Fair enough. We start our trip on the East Coast, and as we go across the country and build momentum, we finish our trip at Wizards headquarters and play a game with them.
With Gavin Verhey.
Gavin, Mark Rosewater, all of the big wigs over at Wizards headquarters.
Could be pretty cool.
It could be like towards the end, because they're not quite on the coast, but like I think it would be great if we moved our way through there to play a game with them. I think this would be a great idea.
That would be pretty sick.
It'd be pretty sick. We just got to have it take off enough that this is our job, because
taking the PTO for that is what, about a month and a half straight.
Something like that.
Join our Patreon to fund our...
Yeah, tell you what, this is the reason we'll fire up a Patreon. If you want to see this, let us know, and we'll fire up a Patreon. We'll get the funding started for this. First, we need a car.
First off, we need gas prices not to be so high. Second,
we'll get an electric car. We'll rent an electric car so we don't have to worry too much about gas.
Let's get the Flintstones. We'll start running.
The Flintstone special, power. That'll do it. We're an advice podcast here. We take your Magic the Gathering questions, and we answer them and give you the best advice that you could have hoped for in the circumstances. So why don't we get to it?
Let's do it.
Back to it then.
Our first question comes from the EDH subreddit, as many do, from username Ladybutt.
Wow.
Sure.
Ladybutt. Hey!
There's only
I
one
also like
T.
Lady Butt, so
There's only
Me
one
too.
T, so it's like Lady Butt. It's
maybe she's
like
like interrupting someone, like Lady Butt.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
don't
yeah.
do that.
Yeah. All right. So user Lady Butt says, "Forget favorites. What are cards or commanders you don't recommend?" The post says, "When Heliod the Radiant Dawn came out, I was really excited to brew him. Working at instant speed and having opponents draw cards to give yourself an advantage seemed interesting. However, I ended up scrapping the deck after one night. If the table does not kill Heliod before it flips, you will just storm off for 20 minutes on the end step before your turn and then win by default. If Heliod is killed, the deck kind of just crumples, as you need to play janky group hug card draw and high cost colorless spells." They also say, "I know it's beating a dead horse, but I personally despise the play patterns that Soul Ring and Rhystic Study create. I've never felt they impact the game in an interesting or fun way." There's certainly a lot of one trick commanders that fit that, right? Like the infamous Cruel Claw.
The
Definitely seen Atla
famous
piles with that.
Cruel Claw.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
Alapalani. Yeah, a lot of
Atlaplani,
Yeah.
Alapalani
yes.
decks are just here's a Blight Steel, or
Here's a Blightsteel. So
Yep.
you just
good
hold up
luck.
Swords to Plowshares, and you're like, Blightsteel shows up, and you're like, no more Blightsteel, and they're like, I guess I
Cool.
lose. I'm like, I guess you do.
I'm out of this game. It's like, well, maybe you should have more than one strategy.
Yep. I
I agree
wouldn't
with the Heliod
recommend.
example.
Yeah,
That card is very much hit or miss.
Yeah.
it's the whole all-in commanders. Like if your commander makes you go all in, and if you can't do it, then you're just kind of screwed. I don't really recommend those commanders in general.
Yeah. Kind of like
Um,
recommending that your commander improves your deck, but your commander
yeah,
is not just your deck, right? Like your
right.
deck should not be just built around your commander's success, and the fact that your commander stays on the board means that you win the game, but rather your commander should help add to your deck to make it better, right? Like me, one of my favorite decks that I've talked about, my Rune of the Hidden Realm Blink deck. I don't need to play Rune of the Hidden Realm. I don't. He's great and can be a really fantastic piece to, blink my own things or be sneaky and temporarily remove creatures from opponents' boards, right? Like, he can be good, but he is there if I need an additional source of flicker, right? He is there
Yeah.
just as a way to bounce more things. If I built the deck as just flicker targets and ways to untap him, the deck would be measurably worse of a deck.
Yeah,
It's like be an addition, not a requirement.
Yes.
right. Another thing is things that seem scary but aren't necessarily all that scary. I talked about it before on the podcast, on where I had to take the 14th Doctor apart
Yeah.
because people just target it so hard because they have like that trigger response to, oh no, doctors, there's a lot of strong doctor commanders. But
Yeah.
this deck is
Someone
not built
call a
around any one of
doctor, but not for me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so if a deck looks scary, even if it's not actually scary, people are gonna go after it.
I would put like Alexios and Slicer in these kind of categories of
Yes.
like I would
Yeah.
recommend not building them, just because the way that they play, if they get removed or if they even do their thing, it's just not an enjoyable experience for like anyone at the table. Really,
Nope.
it's like, oh cool, yeah, you just killed one player in like 2 turns, but now you have to kill the other players, and then it becomes eventually just a one-on-one of you trying to figure out how to kill the last person.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
like in theory, I think they're pretty good in 99s, but as like a commander, I think it kind of ruins the game experience.
Yeah.
And if they stop you, your deck really doesn't do a whole lot without them. Like,
Yeah.
it's just kind of, you're built to play that guy as quick as you can, get them stronger, killing your opponents, and then if they get removed, you're like, oh cool, now what do I do?
I would almost extend that to all Voltron commanders in general,
Yeah.
where
For sure.
it's so difficult to make a Voltron strategy good and fun, right? Because the Voltron strategy, for those who don't know, when we say Voltron, we're basically referring to a style of commander deck where you have a creature in the command zone who has a lot of keywords or a good power toughness to mana cost ratio, where you can suit them up with certain equipments and auras that will power them up and make them a lethal threat in just 1 or 2 attacks to a player, right? Where the point of the game is to quickly swing at your opponents, where commander damage then becomes the relevant problem in the situation, right? So if you're building that, it's tricky and it's difficult because we fall into that same issue of your entire strategy revolves around your commander surviving. And if it doesn't survive, you lose. And if it does survive, the most likely scenario of what will happen is you will take out a player or 2 if you're lucky, and player 3 will have saved the correct removal and the correct responses for your deck to blow you out and take you out. So
Yeah.
you need to build it very carefully, very protected. It's just tricky, and it's not always fun. I personally do have a Voltron deck that I love because it plays into just this element of chaos that I enjoy. I built Ruhan of the Fomori. He is a 4-mana 7/7. Like I said, you want a cheap creature with high stats. He has a single ability, no keywords or anything, no trample, no haste. The only thing he does is that at the beginning of each combat, choose an opponent at random. Ruhan attacks that player this turn if able. So when it comes to combat, I'm not making any decisions. I am just rolling a die. I'll say player 1, 1, 2, player 2, 3, 4, player 3, 5, 6. I'll roll a 6-sided die, and you're getting hit. And then I'll just punch that player. And I have to play around with, I've hit you once before, and I have a double strike enabler in my hand. Maybe I can take you out. Just stuff like that. I like the chaos of it, but it's not good. I don't often win with the deck because I can take out one player and then just die to the others.
Exactly. Or it's like, that one player just has the way to stop you. And now you're just stuck trying to deal with that player by yourself.
Yeah.
Right. If you're doing Voltron, you almost have to do it sneaky Voltron.
Yeah.
And I think 2 of the most, the best at that from most recent history is actually 2 of the Bloomburrow commanders. Miss Bumbleflower is notable for getting really, really big and beating people up because
the crime lord herself.
The crime lord herself. Then the other one is probably I'm guessing probably the 3rd most popular of the commanders. No, he might be the least popular, but I feel like probably actually the 2nd strongest or 3rd strongest is Zinnia Valley's Voice.
Because the offspring one.
He, just because he cares about base power and toughness, not current power and toughness. Well, or base power. He doesn't really care about base toughness. But that base power, you can make those offspring. And I've randomly had times where I'm like, Zinnia's a 10/4 with flying.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty
Why
big.
not kill somebody? You don't have any flyers? Cool. If I hit you one more time, you die. And I have held off with Zinnia because if I don't swing with Zinnia, people are less inclined to murder him. The sneaky Voltron is kind of a good way to go when it comes to doing a Voltron strat.
I thought you were going to bring up Balin the Haymaker as one who is can turn very Voltron.
Yeah, Balin can also turn very Voltron. Bloomburrow just had a ton of ones that are like, surprise, I'm Voltron now.
Yeah, fair.
Who would have guessed cute little creatures could get real scary real fast?
Who knew that cute little creatures could commit war crimes? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the bunny from Monty Python.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yep.
Yeah.
It's just a rabbit.
It's just a rabbit.
We can't start quoting Monty Python or that will be the rest of the episode. Okay.
That is true. That is true.
Are there individual cards that you guys try to avoid recommending and recommend that people sometimes will pull out of their decks? I'll take the easy one here. Cathar's Crusade is a card that I on paper looks so powerful, and it is. It truly will make a blank deck or a tokens deck go crazy. What it also is an accounting nightmare. I think you need a CPA to play Cathar's Crusade in a tokens deck. I truly do. Because Cathar's Crusade, for those who don't know, 3 mana, it's a 5 mana enchantment, 3 and a white. Whenever a creature you control enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. Very simple. But what it turns into is if you have 6 tokens enter, all those tokens get counters. And all your existing creatures get counters. And if different tokens are entering at different times, you've got to put more counters on those. And you need things to individually represent every single creature that has a different number of counters. And so you end up with a boatload of tokens on your board. You end up with dice all over the table. And every time a creature enters the battlefield, it's a 5-minute game delay because you have to move the dice on every single creature you control and all the tokens you control. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
horrible.
terrible to track.
While it's
It is an
incredibly
accounting nightmare.
strong and will win you the game when played right, the headache it creates, I don't put it in decks anymore. I think I actually have it in one because I was pretty sure the deck couldn't win unless I had something like that in it. It was my Reaper King Scarecrow deck, where I don't run any changelings in any of my Typal decks because I feel like it's cheating, except for Morophon because he's just broken. So my Scarecrow deck truly only has Scarecrows, and Scarecrows are bad. And so I built it as a semi-blink deck with Cathar's Crusade because I'm like, I'll never really have so many creatures that'll become a nightmare, and it's kind of my only way to make these guys big enough to where they're a threat. So
Yeah.
I don't recommend playing Cathar's Crusade ever.
It's like, yeah, it'd be great in like a Heir Apparent deck too, but
Oh, it would
Yeah.
kick butt in a Heir Apparent deck.
all of those counters.
So if you don't
I
want to
know.
play Cathar's Crusade, but you do want to play something that sounds more complicated than it actually is, there is a card from Infinity. Oh, I had it pulled up. Oh, hold on, it's right here.
I know what you're going to bring
Starlight
up too.
Spectacular.
Well, I think we've talked about this on the
Heck
podcast. Yeah, man.
Yeah, probably. I think this card is hilarious. You have Parade. So at the beginning of combat on your turn, choose creatures you control one at a time until each creature you control has been chosen. Easiest way is you go left is 1, right is the top number. I have this many creatures. And then the creatures get a buff for their number of turn in order. So you get a Cathar Crusade kind of effect where you don't have to track it outside of saying, here's the start, here's the end, here's all the guys in between. And then
Oh, so
you
nice.
can do the math when you need to.
Yeah, it's still a lot
Yeah.
of like mental effort to keep track of.
Oh, it is.
But it is still a little less taxing than Cathar's Crusade.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about putting it in a deck I've been tempted to brew for a while for if I'm playing against people who really want to annoy. It's basically just a deck where it's like, how much can we track? We're playing Monarch. We're playing Night
Everything
and
that can
Day.
make anything.
We're playing everything that makes us track extra stuff. And just
funny.
let's see how complex this game can get and how annoying it can be.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
yes, exactly. It is-
Someday-
That's like
it
the
is-
thing everybody hated about like Night and Day was like, even though
Nothing's
the thing
here.
that mattered gone, like you still have to
Yeah.
track it in case it like comes back.
Right.
Or that's the deck I'm gonna play against on my deathbed. It's
Right.
finally the thing that's
It'll
gonna
just
get me
push you
out.
over the edge, you know?
Yeah.
No, you're gonna die playing against my White Whale deck, where it's got 4 Shahrazad, 4 Enter the Dungeon, 4 Countdown as 1, 4 Karn Liberated,
Oh goodness.
and it's just the game that never ends. We're gonna go into
Incredible.
sub
We're
game
going
after
again.
sub game after sub game, and you're not getting out.
It's like, have you guys remember the card game War that
Yes.
you'd play with friends? You just play with a deck of cards, right? It's a very simple card game. You each take half the deck of cards and you each flip over the top card. Whoever is the higher card takes both the cards, yours and the other players, and puts them into their deck, right? And you keep playing until one player has the whole deck. You guys ever actually played a full game of War?
Yes.
It takes
Yeah,
forever.
takes a while.
You guys ever tried
long,
a
long time.
5-person game of War?
no.
God.
It doesn't
Although,
end.
yes,
Okay?
I have actually done that before. I think we got 6 at one point, and people got murdered pretty fast.
Occasionally
end up
people
with
will get knocked out. Yeah,
Yeah.
but the game doesn't end because it just takes so long. Like,
Yeah.
not to be that guy, but there was a time in band camp where we did that for like 4 hours one night, and it just did not end. So, yeah, don't do it. That's basically what the Shahrazad Enter the Dungeon Countdown as 1 deck is.
Yes.
Don't
From
play those
hell,
cards.
yeah.
Don't play those cards.
No, it's the game that will never end.
Just
I'll bust
remember,
out my phone.
if your friend tricks you into that, conceding is a special action and can be done at any time.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
And also, if you need help deleting contacts from your phone, let me know. I can help out, and you don't have to ever talk to that friend again.
Hashtag tech support. Another card that I would highly recommend not playing is Krark. 'Cause that guy
Yeah.
is crazy.
Kark the Thumbless, yeah.
Yeah.
He makes things
I
so
It takes
complicated.
forever to resolve.
let's see, where is it in this stack of cards I have next to me? I have a Kark and Sakashima because I want to build that deck at some point.
Yep, no, he's right there. He's over there.
Yeah, Officer, this one
Yep.
right here.
Yep, he's over there. He's right there.
Get him.
Yeah, I do want to try building Kark Sakashima. It does. It's my kind of bullcrap, you know. It's my
If you
kind of
commit
dumb.
to it and you get it down where you're not
Yeah.
taking like 20-minute turns trying to flip coins.
Hey, you know what?
then you
Actually,
can do it.
it would work really well in tabletop sim because if I need to flip
would.
like X coins, I can just clone that many coins, flip them all at once, and then check them.
Or
It's
That
just
true.
would
don't
be way
play it.
faster.
That's also an option.
Maybe for cowards.
Maybe we cut
Yeah.
off his other thumb.
No, that's a
One
different
other
card.
thumb.
Oh,
There's
yeah, it doesn't
Kark's
have any
thumb,
thumb.
and then there's Kark's
No thumbs.
other thumb.
Speaking
Both of
of-
his thumbs are cards.
Yeah, if somebody sat down at my table and they're like, "I have Krark's other thumb in my deck," I'm like, "Good on you, man."
Oh yeah,
Let's go.
That card's legal in my eyes. I don't care.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's
no,
silver
I
border,
feel
but
like it
not
should be
silver
legal.
border.
So our next question here comes from the Magic TCG subreddit from username Coeen McClear. You're on the fence there, buddy. I assume it's like a weird version of some
Word?
very Irish name or Scottish name. I don't know, man. Anyway, but the point he makes here, I would like to bring up and defend. So they say, I'll never understand the hate blue gets. They say, so it's perfectly okay to make your opponent discard the card they need to win for 1 mana, remove your opponent's key piece from the board the moment it lands, also for 1 mana, stacks out everything so your opponent can't attack without sacrificing creatures or playing their entire supply of mana or losing half their life, steal cards from your opponent's deck and cast them without paying the mana cost or by paying any color, destroy lands, flood the board with billions of tokens so your opponent can't possibly survive, and play a 12/12 with haste, vigilance, double strike, hexproof, and indestructible on turn 3, but counterspelling, that's somehow worse? That's a whole post.
That's the
And
whole post.
Cohen McClear, I completely agree. I really do. I agree with you. I think blue should get way less hate, but I will also attempt to now give my reasoning as to why I think blue gets more hate than any other color. Undeservedly so.
Let's hear it.
People like to play
Get on your
Magic.
soapbox.
Yep, I'm up on the...
Yeah.
Wait,
All right,
let
up
me
on the
hear your
soapbox.
soapbox here.
Okay.
Did you not hear me
Oh
climbing?
God!
Okay.
Wow. Did you? Are you sure you don't? You need a step stool for that soapbox, or?
Dude, I'm on eye level with you now, man. This is a good tall soapbox. All right.
All right, perfect.
So, people like to play Magic, right?
That's why we're here.
And playing Magic consists of tapping lands to produce mana or other mana producing sources, producing mana to cast spells from your hand to create an effect on the game state. Seeing that effect on the game state makes people happy. Blue prevents an effect on the game state or rewinds the effect on a game state. How much fun would you have digging a hole if at the end of digging a hole you didn't find treasure, but instead your boss came up and said, oh, didn't I tell you? We moved the hole 15 feet to the right in the plans. I'm going to need you to fill it in and do it all again.
Like, oopsie.
Or how much fun would you have going out for a test drive in your dream car if the dealer suddenly said, actually, you don't get to drive this car? When you get to do a big dumb thing, like drive a crazy car or cast a Craterhoof Behemoth with 478,627 tokens on the board, that's fun because you see an immediate impact on the game. But when you cast that Craterhoof Behemoth and the blue player says counterspell, you no longer see any change on the game. And so there is a feeling of, I have paid a cost to make a thing happen, and nothing has happened. I paid to drive this car, I am not driving this car. I am, therefore, upset.
Vroom, vroom.
I don't think that's any sort of unbroken ground here with that argument. I really think that's primarily, we all understand that's why people hate blue, is because they prevent you from playing the game instead of answering the game that you play. Instead of letting you play the game and removing pieces after they've hit the board and created effects, you are preventing anything from happening. And people don't like to feel that their efforts do nothing.
Yeah.
That's why back in the day when there's like the Cold War, people would go under their desk because realistically, no, that's not doing anything, but it gives you the feeling of you're doing something and that calms you down.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Like,
That's a terrifying side tangent that all of those Cold War videos that the US government put out about, like, hey, if there's a nuke, get under your desk, you'll be fine. The government knew full well you wouldn't be fine. The government knew
Nope.
you would die.
yeah, no,
but by
it's not
putting
gonna
those
do
out, it made you feel better.
Yeah,
Right.
because
And-
you feel like you're making an action to change your situation, and that's
Yep.
what people need in their brains.
That's your
Yeah,
history lesson for the day, kids.
It was the same thing with the shelters
not
that
be
they're
history.
talking about for nuclear fallout. Those shelters wouldn't have done jack diddly either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just a thing of like, hey, I'm doing something to prepare for this, so I'm okay. It's that act of doing something that makes them feel better.
It's like a lot of like elevator buttons or sidewalk crossing buttons like don't actually do
Yes.
anything because they're
Yeah.
based on the lights, not and like ADA compliance for like the elevator side of things. So like like pushing the button doesn't realistically do anything, but it makes you feel like it does, and so
There's a
that's why
term
they're
for
there.
this in interface design and in civic engineering. There's a term for that, but I don't know it. Maybe I'll search it up real quick. But
yeah, like realistically, the difference between having your big dumb creature get countered on the stack versus swords to plowshare when it entered, like realistically, it doesn't really get much different. It's basically the same end goal or end result, but like it feels worse getting countered than it does getting removed after the fact, and that's the weird part.
The big difference is people like to break the rules of timing when they go to remove it when it hits the board, because they like to jump in and be like, I'm gonna kill it. It's like, well, you gotta wait for me to do anything at all before you can actively kill it, my friend.
Okay, so unoriginally they are just called placebo buttons.
But yeah, no, I blue does get a lot more hate because of having counter spells, and like obviously blue's like the best place for counter spells. Like there's occasionally a color break of like the Tybalt's Trickery or Mana Tithe, but realistically a majority of them are on blue's side. And when blue's the only way you really can interact with like the stack itself, like it makes it hard not to hate on that color because it's like, well, every time I can't do anything, it's because of a blue card. And it's like, well, that's kind of the only option they have.
Blue has to deal with it there. How else are they going to deal with it?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Bounce it back and have you cast again? Like
I believe blue has the worst on-board permanent removal in the game. Permanent. Permanent removal. Right?
Not just bounce or put library or
Exactly. They can do that.
Actual removal is very hard to find in blue.
They cannot remove things from the game permanent.
Yeah.
They just can't.
They have a few for creatures. They have
they have a few
Kongify, rapid hybridization. That's it.
And design has shifted away from that because they've decided that blue doesn't get to do that either. They get to instead sort of transmute, sort of like Ichthyomorphosis from Theros Beyond Death, Kenrith's Transformation. That's a green card though.
Amphibian Downpour.
Amphibian Downpour. There's a good one. They, instead of removing creatures, you just get to turn them into something useless, which can be as good as removal if you play your cards right, literally, but it isn't the best removal in the game. Instead, blue is best when it can prevent problems. It cannot answer them, it can prevent them.
Yeah.
Our healthcare provider.
Exactly.
It's that checkup.
Yeah.
It's getting tested. Blue gets way more hate than other colors because, like you guys were saying, at least when it gets killed, it hit the table. Counter spells are just like, no, you don't get to hit the table at all.
Yeah.
And it's the same reason why people hate mill. They get to see all their they get to see the cool cards they want to play go to the graveyard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I used to be that guy, but now I like to be that guy in jest.
Yeah.
I'm like, you milled my good card. I've had multiple people call me out. It's like, your deck's full of good cards. I'm like, wink at them.
Exactly.
And it's like the whole argument with mill too. It's like you didn't have those cards anyways.
Yeah,
like, they weren't going to get them. You didn't draw them. You didn't know that they were going to be drawn until they got milled. So like realistically, you didn't lose anything at all. You just have more
those cards could have been on the bottom of your deck the whole game, and you would have never seen them. But because a mill deck came around, you saw them, and now you're mad?
Exactly.
No, blue gets too much hate.
Mill sucks, but like
mill's not a good strategy, man. Don't hate on someone being worse. That's like being upset because somebody is playing chair tribal in your CEDH pod. Okay,
Yeah,
like they're
Aaron
not gonna
proceeded to go
win.
crazy right now, all right?
I feel called
They're
out
not
here.
gonna. They're not gonna win. They're just gonna do some weird stuff, and it might interact with something you were doing. But you're still gonna beat them. Why get mad at them?
I feel called out here as somebody who's working on a Zelix list again. I'm like, I
Yeah,
am
well,
doing the mill thing in CDH.
no, I
Yeah,
mean you did
that is
quite a
true.
bit in our games the other
I
day.
did. I interacted a lot.
You did. It wasn't enough. Creating a mill loop to win against a Tayam deck doesn't
Yeah, it's a little
typically
tough.
work out.
Well, your mill loop was you got it going, and then mine just was like, it's gonna happen. Like
Yeah,
mine finishes before yours gets to go again because of Hex Drinker level up only at sorcery speed, which is a thing to
yeah.
keep in mind. If you're
I will
playing
need to
against
remember that. Yeah,
if you're playing against a Tayam player, listeners, and they get Hex Drinker out and they try to go, oh, I can loop this infinitely, leveling up is sorcery speed. You can interact there.
I will need to
Don't let
remember
them get
that, and
away
I will
with it.
need to find an instant speedway to get more counters. I was really sad to lose Moon Shadow that game because Moon Shadow I would have
Yeah.
been able to do it really well because I would have had enough for one extra activation every time, so I would have been able to go like that. But
Dude,
yeah,
that game was so funny. Everybody
that was
but
great.
you getting an Atali.
I was so
Yeah.
mad about that. I hope you all, by the way, are enjoying our gameplay episode that we posted here on Wednesday. We had a lot of fun recording that, so
Yeah. We brought back Tristan,
I had to,
friend of the show,
not just because we
narrator.
needed a fourth, but just because he's amazing.
Yep, narrator of our wonderful commercials that you see in every
Advertisement
episode.
commercials, yeah.
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
Had to
Man of
find a way to
many
get him on
talent.
more consistently. Our third question for the day, I might have a bit of a discussion here after this one, depending on time. But our third question for the day is from the Magic the Gathering subreddit from Jumpy Stay 2915, which is a pre-made username. You did not pick that. I am absolutely sure of that,
Pretty
but
sure
it's
he
okay.
did. They really like to jump and they really like to stay.
I
And
will
they were
bet
born in
this
the year
rule of law
2915.
I will bet this M20 rule of law that's on my desk right now that he did not intend for Jumpy Stay 2915 to be his username.
All right, I'm gonna
So,
message this guy on Reddit and I'm gonna ask him.
okay.
And that 2010 card is gonna be mine.
Okay, it's a M20, not 2010. You can
Oh.
have my M20 rule of law. It's
Nice,
not foil or
nice.
anything.
Oh, sick.
All right. So, Jumpy Stay 2915 asks, what are the best formats in your opinions for new-ish players or for those who have only played EDH? They say, I am a fairly new player in the grand scheme of things, just starting just after the British lockdown ended, which they remind us is about 4 years ago now. They say, I play mostly Commander, but I play with mostly commons because I'm too poor from playing Warhammer to spend £500,000 on mana fixing.
That's a
Because
mood,
of
bro.
this,
That's a mood.
I've wondered about getting into Pauper, because that seems like a laugh, but I'm interested to see other people's favorite constructed formats. I also think Limited seems a blast, but I don't have 10 friends and £100 lying around, so I'll give drafting a pass for now. Thanks.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
hit it right
Wanna
on the
talk
head in your whole thing. Pauper is fantastic. It is like $30 to build a complete Pauper deck, and that's for the meta decks. There's a
Yeah, I
few
don't.
decks that are higher than that if you're playing something like Lotus Petal or a couple other cards, but most of the time, $30, fully complete meta Pauper deck.
Yeah,
There
I don't
you
know
go.
how we convert freedom dollar to quid, but I'm sure it's
It's
not
true.
bad.
Well, I think their dollar is still slightly stronger than ours.
It
At least
would
last
be.
I looked.
Yeah,
So
it
it'd
is.
be less than
Yes, it is.
$30.
Yeah, just get Pauper is absolutely a great fun time to play. Yeah, if you don't have other people willing to play Pauper with you, there's always people playing Pauper on platforms like Cockatrice. You can also find Discord channels where people are willing to play on Spell Table or Tabletop Simulator. Those are free ways to play online with people wherever. So I would
Also,
certainly recommend looking into those.
You
yeah,
can also build 2 decks and play one with your hands and one with your feet.
it's true.
That's true, but then you have to position the board somewhere in between, and generally that means vertically. And I've had a lot of trouble getting my cards to stick to that surface. Like I've
Yeah.
tried
Definitely.
gum,
Yeah,
I've tried glue sticks. Nothing
The-
really works permanently.
Mine is a
Rubber
little too
band.
arched in the middle to hold the cards properly.
Yeah.
So I can't quite get them to stay in the middle between my feet and my arms. They're
Yeah,
just
and if the
in
curve
between
is
there.
just wrong,
It's a little
it
too
works
arched.
better. It works better when the cards are sideways to kind of fit the curve, but then you get
Mm,
confused on what's tapped and untapped. And even though you're
it's
playing with
true.
both decks, you still don't quite remember. So, yeah, don't do that.
Also, be wary of foot cramps. Keep up on your
Oh,
potassium.
dude, foot cramps are real. Charlie horses, nightmare. So, Popper's great. Highly recommend getting into Popper.
Yep.
Limited is incredibly fun. Even if you don't
Pre-release.
want to do, guys, I'm gonna miss Strixhaven pre-release, and I'm kind of sad about it.
Sad day. I'm
I'm
doing
going
all.
up to, I'm going up to meet my new nephew. So
I mean,
Just bring him a present called a pre-release kit,
I'm
and
gonna bring him a
say,
booster pack and be
I'll
like, "Hey,
hold
guess
on to
what?
this. I'll hold on to
Both
this till you're older."
both of his
to be
parents
fair,
play."
that is pretty worthwhile. Like last year, I missed the Final Fantasy pre-release because I was, going to Disney World
I
for
wonder if I
really
could
cheap.
convince both my wife and my sister to take my brother-in-law out to the pre-release that weekend as like
Hey,
a little
maybe.
present and be like, "Hey, come do this with me. It'll be fun."
It's called bonding.
I
All
don't
right,
know.
can't get better if you don't do it.
Cube is also really fun. I know you
Yes.
said limited is a
Cubits
little
and
difficult because you don't
affordable
have enough
as
friends,
well.
but if you are able to proxy out a cube
Yep,
and just go to your local game store and message on like if they have a Discord and tell people, "Hey, I've got a cube I proxied up. Who wants to play?" I'm willing to
You
bet at
can,
least 5 or 6 people will say, "I would love to draft a cube." Especially if you tell everyone you proxied up like a vintage power cube or something crazy, right?
right,
yeah, you'll get
or
so many people.
or you can just do a 4-person pick two draft.
Yeah,
It's not quite the same, but they
but it's
can
still
be a lot of
fun.
fun. We had a lot of fun at the Spider-Man pre-release doing that. It was actually a fun draft environment to be like, I get to build my deck faster. The draft takes half as much time.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Which, if you need any recommendations to see like how that works, Ben Bateman and Pack It
Mhm.
Up is a very good resource to
Yes,
watch
Pack
for
It
a
Up is
pick
a
two
wonderful show.
draft
Yep.
environment. It's a lot of fun to watch, and it kind of goes over everything you know for it. So
They pulled one of my
Right.
favorite cards of all time.
Oh.
Tayam?
Nicol Bolas, baby.
Oh. I'm just sitting here. I'm
OG
like,
Legends
Yeah, the
printing.
OG.
Stormtide? What? What are we talking
He
about?
tried to. He played it in his deck too. He was running him.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, Stormtide Leviathan is up there. So, but no.
I think another thing for like limited, I'm a dumb American, so I don't know if the 100 quid was for like a whole booster box or not. But obviously you can have your friends also pay into it and then keep cards they draft. That
Yeah.
makes it a little bit more affordable. Like you split the cost of the box, everyone still gets cards and they still get to
Mhm.
play the experience.
Yeah.
And then I think another really good format is Jumpstart. If you've
Yes.
only ever
Oh,
played
yeah.
like EDH or something like that, I think Jumpstart's a really easy way to jump into 1v1 Magic
so fun.
without being too expensive. Plus, you already have like 2 packs of cards that you just put together, and then if you bought the other 2 for the other player, like you can just mix those now and do completely different decks with different themes.
Yeah.
It's
You
really
can
easy.
make that into a cube.
If you have friends who are
Also
looking
true.
at Magic, Jumpstart is a really easy way to introduce them. That's how I taught my wife how to play. Is I found a original Jumpstart blister pack, so it had 4 booster packs in it, just perfect for us. And it was like kind of damaged, so I even managed to get the Walmart employees to give it to me for half off.
Nice.
And so it was just the packaging. None of the packs had been opened, so I'm like, whatever. So I put all 4 in front of her, and I said, "You pick 2. I will take the other 2." We didn't know what was in them. She ended up picking 2 green ones, Big Stompy and Dinosaurs, and I got like
It's the same picture.
rogues and fair. I got like rogues and fairies. So it was mono green Stompy versus blue black Control, and I was like,
Mono Green Stompy
okay,
versus literal bugs that they're going to squish.
exactly. So it was such a great time, and that's how I taught her to play. It was very simple, very basic. You didn't have to worry about deck building. You just took 2, smushed it together, and played.
And
Jumpstart's
they all have
amazing.
themes. They're not supposed to be like extremely complicated in any way.
No, yeah,
They're
yeah,
all
yeah.
pretty straightforward to understand. They're nothing like crazy mechanical wise that you're like, I have no idea what this does or how this interacts with anything.
Yeah.
I
They're all
just
very
realized
straightforward,
something.
easy to learn, easy to play.
I think it's funny, and we can totally cut it. But Zach.
If you talk about gardening right now, I swear.
Esther's basically first commander deck was Gishath, right? Or not
It was
Gishath,
Galta.
Galta, the big green dino.
Wait,
Yep,
really?
big green
And
mommy.
that was Bailey's too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, hey, this does a lot of damage, and it's easy to cast because it costs less for the more creatures you have. So, and then it turns out you hit them twice, they're dead. So
I saw my wife's eyes light up when I explained to her that Galta just needed to hit me twice and I was dead. She's like, what?
And it has trample. That
and
means
I'm like, yeah.
It goes over things it blocks.
Yeah, and I'm like, it has trample, so it's so much harder for me to stop the damage. No, you hit me twice with that, I'm basically gone. And she's like,
yeah.
ugh. And after we played those Jumpstart games, I was like, do you want me to build you a commander deck around Galta? And she's like, yeah, that would be cool. So I threw one together with that, and I told her it's the same rule in Commander. You hit somebody twice with Galta, they die.
They're dead.
So...
yeah, I just find it great that is a pretty... Galta's a pretty standard starter for people playing Commander.
Galta has high wife approval factor.
It has high partner approval factor.
100%.
Turns out ladies like big dinosaurs too. So
yeah, it's just so easy to explain. Oh, your guy costs less for all the power on your board. Okay, and now you have a free 12/12 for 2 mana. Yeah. And I kill somebody in 2 hits. Your mono green deck has a ton of ways to double your power toughness in combat or during combat. So it's like, now you just have to hit them once. It's like it's very easy to explain. Oh, all you gotta do is attack people, and then they'll die. It's like, oh, okay, I can do that.
Yeah, I just realized that it was the same thing for both of you guys, and I was like, that's fantastic.
It really is. It's like the what's the little meme of the handshake between Full Metal Alchemist with the guy with the mustache and the guy. It's like that. It's
teaching our wives to play with Galta.
A new thing I want to get a picture of when at your guys' wedding. I want to get Bailey and Esther to recreate that handshake.
Oh yes,
so we have a meme for it. A meme for the Galta.
Having Galta be your intro to Commander.
Yeah,
that'd
be fantastic.
Yeah, I think Jumpstart is a fantastic product for teaching players how to play.
True that.
It's affordable. You already have the 2 packs. You just put them together. You can get more packs if you want, or you can just trade those little packs between people.
You can sleeve those packs up and then keep them in a box.
Just keep doing it. Yeah.
Later, do different combos at different times.
That was something I wanted to bring up in a previous episode where we talked about what to do with your bulk or cards you don't want. You can make your own Jumpstart packs.
Ooh,
it's true.
Find some cards from your bulk and kind of get a general theme in your head. And try to build your own Jumpstart packs that can play against each other in these kind of decks that you can just mix and match and have that available for between rounds, or trying to teach someone new, or having someone try a new strategy of maybe they only really like playing with creatures, but they haven't been able to play with spell slinging kind of decks. And it's there's a good intro to different ideas. Plus, it lets you play with cards that you don't really ever play with, and it's oh well, this card's really fun, but it's just not good enough. Actual decks, but now you have a Jumpstart deck, it can be good enough.
Right. That's kind of the concept behind my partner smash up set of decks.
Yeah.
It's it's just a thing where you can play for a lot cheaper and just be hey, let's just have fun playing Magic in a different way than we normally do.
Yeah.
Exactly. I loved those little partner smash up decks. Those were fun.
Yeah. So
our last topic of conversation, I posted quickly before we started recording. Oh wow, a couple more people have posted questions. Maybe we'll do we're gonna do what I call the Tayam hot seat.
Let's do Tayam hot seat. Tayam hot seat speed
3
round.
users.
It's speed dating, but with Magic questions from the Tayam CDH Discord.
So
shout out to them.
Yeah. So 3 users in the Tayam CDH Discord. First up, we have. Oh man, I'm sorry, man.
Oh, it's another one.
This username, I'm gonna get your guys' input here.
Make Josh be able to read your username.
Immediate failure.
At least it ain't me.
Well, how would you pronounce that?
It's Thomas. Thomas 175.
Is that just Thomas?
There's a few more N's, but there's an N. There's a silent N in Thomas.
Tomanas.
But there's an accent over the N, so it's gotta be
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
man. We're
Time.
totally
It's
butchering this
basically-
username.
It's basically Tom Bananas.
Sure,
Okay,
I'm
bananas,
sorry,
Tom
man.
Bananas. This question
But-
goes out to you.
Bananas.
They actually have a really great question I think is quite interesting. They want to talk about how the rise of
The
oh, sorry, I
Eldrazi?
have to-
Yeah, it's really scary out there right now, guys. As
Be
an
careful.
Innistrad farmer, I'm really struggling about accepting this new radical religion of tentacles. But honestly, it's kind of coming around to me. I'm
It's okay.
thinking maybe Eldrazi's pretty good.
As a Zendikar farmer, I've been dealing with this for nigh on a decade now. You get used to it.
Oh
It'll be
wow!
okay.
Okay, yeah.
Me and
okay,
my
good to
family
know,
here
good to
on
know.
Theros would like all of you to stay away. Anyway, so Temeninus says, why will
Temeninus.
Tayam be one of the best decks in the format if Rog Ishai becomes meta? So this is talking about in the CEDH meta, there's a new deck that is showing up, Rograk and Ishai.
Yes, guys, back, baby.
This is a Jeskai list using Rograk for early mana and Ishai for colors. That's all he's good for.
Pretty
Yep.
much, yeah.
And you're playing sort of this Jeskai control list where your goal is to land a Rhystic study and make more Rhystic studies or steal other people's Rhystic studies and just have an overwhelming amount of value that you can use a lot of these maybe not as good free spells. Things like Snapback is a 1 and a blue for an instant, return target creature to its owner's hand, but you can exile a blue card in your hand instead of pay its mana cost. So it's like, pay Force of Will, but you bounce a creature instead of countering
like Force
a spell.
of the Floodmaw, It's like
Do they play foil?
This current list I'm looking at, so
I don't think they're in for it, but they do like subtlety, any like
Okay.
disrupting shoal, kind of those like
Yeah.
any free spells that you
Commandeer and
can cast.
Misdirection are
Commandeer.
in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this list
It's kind of like what the Kinnan decks have been doing a lot right now recently as well, of like a no bad cards kind of shell.
Which is
if I'm
hilarious
drawing
because,
enough
like,
cards, I can just interact with things. Like
it was just funny because
Yeah.
like Snapback and Commandeer Misdirection are not great cards.
it's really
but
great when
just
you have
having
a
this
mold to a
critical-
3 and you steal someone's Rhystic Study, and then you're
right,
back
but
in the
having
game.
this critical mass of interactive spells and effects balanced with White's sort of silence effects has created these new and interesting deck lists that are starting to pop up. However, the way that they win is primarily through getting a ton of value through effects like Esper Sentinel, Rhystic Study, Mystic Remora, and then winning through a Brain Freeze line. Chaining infinite...
Brain.
Yeah, LED Brain Freeze loops, which mill your whole
With
deck out.
Underworld Breach.
So if that is to become the case, let me tell you, us Tayam players are eating good. Because, A, silence effects and rule of law effects, not that big of a deal to us. We play many of our own because Tayam is primarily playing off of activated abilities. So if we get to a certain point in the game, it doesn't matter if you've silenced us. We can have 7 activations ready to go. And that can generally get us to a point where we can start to win. If you're playing a bunch of Rhystic Studies and relying on the card advantage from those, once again, it's not going to help because we're not really casting spells. And the Rog Ishai lists are slower typically than other traditional Rograk lists with Rog Silas and Rog Thras, where you are playing a bit of a slower game. Your early game is truly just set up value. And by turn 3, maybe 4 or 5 is where you can finally have so much overwhelming value, you can push for a win through everything. That is the kind of game that you will lose to a Tayam against if you try that. Because if you are... First of all, counter spells don't work that well against Tayam. We'll just bring them back. Waiting that long will give us that many more turns to build our resources and win the game. Like, this slower, grindier game plan is exactly what Tayam wants to be doing. Because in that long game, Tayam can create an inevitable board state where they will win. No matter how many ways you find to try to stop them, they're always going to have enough resources to go just over top of you.
For sure.
So yeah,
and I think
everybody start playing Rog Ishai.
I think Tayam also loves to see stacks.
I do,
like
yeah.
other people's decks, just because like it slows down the game. That's what Tayam wants.
As somebody who's not quite as versed in CDH meta as you guys are, wouldn't that also just help Sisay out?
Shut up.
Like,
don't say those words here.
Shut up.
Sisay is also going to get a boost from that too, because Sisay is another creature-based deck.
Yeah.
Cares
There-
about
Shut your
activating
dirty
abilities
mouth,
more.
Nate. You shut your dirty mouth. Don't say
That's-
Sisay around these
well,
parts right now.
Well, Zach, that's the kicker, is not only does Sisay and Tayam benefit from this, Kinnan loves that playstyle too. So
All right, yeah, keep it up. Let's bring it. Come on, get over here.
I'm
Yeah.
as the Nagila player, I'm like, okay, I'm fine with this too. I care more
Yeah,
about
eventually you'll have to
activating
block with your Rog Rack, but I'm just gonna kill you anyway. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, these slower, grindier metas are where decks like Kinnan, Rog Thras, Sisay, and to some extent Tayam really thrive. They love a slower game because they cannot go as fast as a Rog Sai or sometimes a Blue Farm or any of these decks. They can't go
My
that
girl
fast.
Nagila.
Itali, it's just not as fast. And so when the game is slowed down, Tayam thrives. And so do many other decks. So if just a quick look at the EDH top 16 in the last 6 months, of these like top 10 lists, if the meta slowed down and turbo was not as viable, most of these decks would do fine, and several of these top 15, top 20 lists would move up. Glarb would probably be better. Lumra would probably be better. Magda is going to be better in this situation. Timna Thrasios is going to be better. So a lot of these decks will move up if Rograk does see this Rog Ishai list does see some sort of prominence that really pushes it to be a lot more of a popular deck.
The Play to Win guys said a really good way of thinking. I was like the Kinnan or Rog Ishai kind of plan of like setting up the engine and getting going. It's like they're your friend for the first two turns because they're trying to not lose to the turbo players, but like then you're just going to lose to the Kinnan player or the Rog Ishai player because now they just have like so many cards in advantage that there's nothing you can do about it. But it's like, do you not lose now or do you not lose later? It's like you gotta kind of keep that balancing act of friend but enemy at the same time. Yeah.
It's tricky. It's tricky. Anyway, so that's kind of what I think. Tayam will definitely become better in a slower meta if Rog Ishai becomes more popular. I don't see a lot of Rog Ishai's interaction affecting us more than like standard interaction packages, and it slowing the meta down just creates a better game for us.
Since we're talking directly to the Tayam Discord right now, obviously it's impossible for the best deck in the world to get better. Tayam's just so powerful. I don't think anything can stop it. No changes to the meta are needed at all because, Tayam's just so powerful. So
yeah,
so good.
I do think it's Tayam and Kinnan players need to have a sort of bond because we are both creature-based decks that avoid traditional interaction, gain overwhelming resources, and win in the mid to late game of CEDH games. And we need to stick together against those dirty, rotten turbo players, of which I am also a part of.
Yeah, I'm tired of Atalis. There's just so many of them everywhere.
I'm gonna rebuild Rogsai. I am. I'm sorry.
Yeah, as a turbo person, I'm like, let's go. She wants to jump out, and she wants to go fast.
She wants to go swing.
So the next question from the of the Tayam quick shot questions.
Phenomenos 2.
No. Andrew 6112. Does Tayam see the highest rate of power creep in the 99, and will this positively affect their placement in the meta? So you can correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, we'll go back and we'll answer it in the way you intended. But the way I'm reading this question is, are Tayam cards more susceptible to be power crept and become better than other CEDH lists, and will this affect their placement in the meta? I don't know, but yes.
Or is it like Tayam in the 99 of another deck being better because of... Okay.
There's no way. I think it means like with Lorwyn Eclipsed, I think is where we really saw this. Lorwyn Eclipsed saw the most action and conversation in the Tayam Discord that I have seen from a set in a long time. because
Oh, yeah.
so many cards involved counters and counter removal and counter production that we were all just like out of our minds trying to really see what could we break open, and we came away with at least 4 or 5 playable cards.
Oh, easily. Yeah, easily.
Moonshadow, by far and away, is the most playable of the cards, the most amazing of the new cards, the rest being pretty good and not terrible inclusions.
Honestly, I 100% think yes.
Yeah,
I think absolutely. I think these more fringe kind of CDH decks have much, much, much higher chances of getting really good cards for the 99 from newer sets.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Specifically, like with Tayam, because it doesn't care what kind of counters. So, like, anytime a new counter or a new type of counter is printed or made, like, that could be a possibility for Tayam
yeah.
of being like, this could break Tayam in some way or make it really, really strong. Like Moonshadow, oh, yeah, -1 counters. Like, they're usually a negative, but for Tayam, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
They are a positive now.
It's a joke of
Yeah.
the from the Pro ZD video that we talked about a couple episodes ago, where we always joked that we wanted a 1 mana card that came in with 5 counters, because that would be crazy, right? Just a crazy rate of counters per mana that we could get out of it. And
Yeah.
then Lorwyn Eclipse came along, and we got a 1 mana for 6 counters.
Yeah,
And
let's do even
we were
more.
like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest card we could have seen, that we could have hoped for, right? So yeah, I absolutely believe Tayam cards, because they are fairly niche, but also very usable. Any card with counters is talked about, basically. Any card under 3 mana that is a permanent and makes counters or handles with counters, we look at. Because we're like, is this good? Does this deserve a slot in our deck?
Yep.
We are looking always at new cards and new ways to build and play. I mean, Badger Mole Cub came out and puts counters on things and creates additional mana. We love that.
Yeah, very
There
good.
was Long Fang from the Avatar set, which just says whenever a land or creature you control is put into the graveyard from play, put a 1/1 counter on a permanent you control. Simple, easy counter production. Some people play that, right? Just any of these little cards that can handle with counter production or mana production are always worth a shot at looking at. And with the inevitability of power creep in the game, we will start to see more cards with better mana to counter rates that we will start playing. There may come a day that a Keishin Money Changer, a 1 mana 0/3 for 3 counters, becomes unplayable because there's better options that don't deal you 3 damage when they enter.
And when that day comes, we will have a funeral for all of Josh's money changers.
We'll have a
Honestly,
pyre.
Into our OnlyFans to see that content.
That's right. We'll
Yeah.
stream it.
we're going to have some weird
Yeah.
content on the Manabonded OnlyFans that does not fit with the typical content
No.
of that website, I will say. Yeah, I definitely think that the more Tayam cards, the longer Tayam stays in the meta to some relevancy, the better chance we have of Tayam just moving up in the ranks, right?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
looking at the top 10 lists on EDH top 16 above us that I can see us pushing out in the next 2 to 3 years: Lumra, Thrasios, Yoshimaru, and possibly even Vivi. I really think we could start to see more play and push that higher than the others. Because Lumra is good, don't get me wrong, and we are getting strong lands. That one could stay up, but I think we get more cool counter producers than we do pieces that are going to play with lands in a strong way, because that is something Wizards has started to dial back and be more careful with. Tivit, we're going to pass Tivit eventually. Tivit's really fallen off. It's a good deck still, don't get me wrong, but having a 6 mana commander in the world of Turbo is very difficult. Thrasios Yoshimaru is just a worse version of Rog Thras, and I think most of them will start to realize that and move off of it. Vivi has had its heyday and is just not as good anymore.
Vivi never was like super duper crazy good.
Yeah.
He is a fun one, and the fact that he can make it to CDH made a lot of Vivi fans like me happy. I love that little guy.
He's very playable for sure.
Yeah, he is playable. He's just not as strong as a lot of people hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, a Tayam player took first place in a tournament 2 days ago, as of recording. Titans of the
Nice.
Underground Season 2, Round 1, The Primer was the name of the tournament. 62 players, and a Tayam player took first place. 5-0.
Wow.
5-0-1.
Heck yeah.
Didn't lose a single game, only drew once. This player went crazy. Their deck list is super cool. They're running things like Abigail, Eloquent First Year, also from Lorwyn Eclipsed. A 2-mana 1/1 flying first strike lifelink. When it enters up to 1, target creature loses all abilities. Put a flying counter, a first strike counter, and a lifelink counter on that creature. So it's 2 mana for 4 counters, because again, Tayam gives every creature a counter when it enters. So they're also playing Longfang. They're also on some new Necrotic Ooze combos that Tayam players are trying out. So
Interesting.
props to this guy. He did great. The last of the quick shot questions we have is from Felothar Enthusiast, which Felothar Dawn of the Abzan is another card that some Tayam players run, where when it enters or attacks, you can sacrifice a permanent to put a 1/1 counter on all your creatures. So it's just easy way to sack outlet and generate counters. So Felothar Enthusiast says, what is the most similar experience to Tayam a CEDH player can find in casual? And to that I say you can just play Tayam in casual. There are some interesting lists I've seen with that play around with things like sagas and saga creatures. But what do you guys think? From what you've seen of me playing Tayam, what are some other decks that look similar to that and play similarly?
If you like the colors, the Necrobloom guy from
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
is a pretty good option of doing something kind of similar but more land focused, I think.
Okay.
From the top of my head, at least. I think that's a pretty similar one to do.
Uh,
If you want to go completely different, Magar of the Hidden Strings does a similar wonky thing with your graveyard, but just different colors and different strategies. So,
Interesting.
like,
I can kind of see that. I'm thinking like, is there a deck out there that likes to play with its graveyard and loop graveyard things?
yeah, so I can think of 3 off the top of my head that aren't in the same colors, but
Sure.
Teval.
my girl Alicia, who
Oh,
smiles at
yes.
death,
Alicia,
and then there's Raid Alicia, which is the second Alicia that does it a little differently, and then there is Tara.
Name another Alicia right now.
I will. She actually goes by a pseudonym. It's called Tara. She's the one from the Commander deck. Yeah. But those
That's the
3 are
Mardu
all
Final Fantasy.
yeah.
Yeah, the
The
one
Final
that I
Fantasy
actually
Commander deck
have.
one.
I do have that precon and I do love it. It is a ton of fun.
That does
So
feel very Tayam.
Those ones also, if you wanted to do something a little bit more combo-y, which Tayam does, you could play Celis that came in. Yeah.
Yep.
That came in the Terra deck. That one is more of a I'm gonna combo things for my graveyard like Tayam does. Different colors and tends to be a little bit more casual for the most part.
And if you like Final Fantasy.
And if you like Final Fantasy,
Yeah.
You
like
these,
many
these
people do.
for Final Fantasy. Yeah.
Who's the new character in Lorwyn or Strixhaven? The green blue guy.
I have no idea.
He taps and gives someone hexproof from colors. Something like
Tam?
Oh,
Tam.
Yeah.
You could play Tam because it's close to Tayam.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah.
The name's nice and close.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Those are some options.
That one.
I think the Mardu one's probably the closest, more casual thing you could get to a Tayam without just playing Tayam. Because I think that is very similar to the game plan of what Tayam's trying to do. Just different colors, different cards. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's very tricky to try to say something that plays similarly because Tayam is such a unique deck, and I think that's why a lot of us love it.
Yeah.
It's so weird. No other legendary in the game plays like Tayam truly does. I have yet to come across another legendary creature that lets you remove counters as part of a cost to reanimate things and can truly play around in the graveyard space and the counter space equally. It's just so unique. It's so interesting, and it's very difficult to find that elsewhere. But if you like the graveyard aspect of Tayam, I can recommend Marin of Clan Neltoth, Terra Magical Adept. Sorry, not that one. Terra Herald of Hope. Yeah, I think that's the one.
And if you really enjoy the name of Tayam, I can recommend you Tam. That's about all I can think of. But there's Tam.
Yeah, it's so different. It truly is. And so if you're wanting to try to find a Tayam experience in casual, my first choice would be just play a casual Tayam list. And if that's not your cup of tea, go looking at things like Marin of Clan Neltoth, the Necro Bloom, and things like that. That will give you kind of that same feel, I think. As close to it as we can get.
True that.
So, all right.
This was
well,
fun. That's fun answering questions for the Tayam Discord.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, you guys, for your questions. You guys are always the real ones. You guys have always been a great help whenever I have questions and thoughts on my deck and looking for improvements. You guys are the real ones. Next week, I might message one of the other CEDH Discords I'm in to see if I can get questions. Maybe I'll do the Boise CEDH or the Utah CEDH ones and see what they think.
That could be cool.
True. Yeah, you Tayam players are my favorite little legendary creature nightmare beasts. You know, my little beasties.
Beastie Boys.
The Beastie Boys are back.
The boys are back in town. Well, we find ourselves in the end step here, fellas.
Yeah, we do.
Is there anything that's been pressing on your mind that you've really been wanting to vent about, rant about, rave about?
I haven't had anything in particular pop up, at least for this forum kind of setup.
Sure.
This little goober went and got his marriage certificate paid for and ready to go for his marriage later this year.
Let's go. I would put air horns in if I cared to mess with that sort of sound effect. Thank you, Zach. No, that's super exciting. We're super excited for you, Zach. We will. We're gonna have to make sure that we can do like a double recording week or something, so that we don't have to worry about making sure we record while you're on your honeymoon. So. Or maybe we'll just pick up Tristan again. I don't know. You down, Tristan? So, yeah, that's super exciting, Zach. We're all very excited for you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
As currently the only married one in the group, can I just say, highly recommend. Find a person, find your best friend and marry him. Best advice I can give.
Yeah, make sure they are a best friend material, because otherwise it could be not so great.
First and foremost, they will be your best friend. They're a marriage partner is a lot of things.
Do a relationship episode where we answer relationship questions.
And we have not only do we do relationship questions, but the first half is us answering the questions. The second half is our partners judging our answers.
There you go.
Oh man. That would be.
And then Nathaniel,
let me sub out for Tristan that time, because
no, Nathaniel, we need your expertise, because then you're going to do the spin of, if they were playing Magic, this would be so much better, and this is why.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
you'll do the Magic spin on it, you know.
Yeah, we'll put the Magic spin on there.
No, I'm excited for your wedding, Zach. You'll have to let me know more of the details about. What week do I need to have off to come hang out with you and all those details. So
yes. Also, I did my taxes, so bam.
Oh, same. My wife
do your taxes, boys.
My wife woke up with a migraine and was like, "I'm not going into work today," and so she stayed home and worked on with the agency to file our taxes. It's going to be a lot more. This
USA freetaxusa.com.
Yeah,
I will. You have standard taxes. It is the best thing to use.
Yeah, our problem this year is
are the reason we have to do taxes.
I hate them both. No, ours is going to be a little bit more expensive this year, and we are going to have to pay for it because we have 2 states we have to file through. Because we have Idaho W-2s and Utah W-2s now as well. So we do have to our filing is a little bit more complicated now, so it's going to cost us quite a bit more just to file.
I got W-3s.
Whoa! This man's over here living in 2030.
Yeah, no, I'm sitting here, and as somebody who has 2 jobs, mostly because they like the money that comes along with having 2 jobs, it sucks. Idaho does not like people working 2 jobs.
No,
it does not,
which is very unfortunate. So they always charge me money, and then the federal government goes, "You know what? You work 2 jobs. Here, have some money back." And so they usually come out ahead a couple $100, but it really sucks going, here goes like $500, and now I have to wait like a month to get the $700 or so back.
To get it back.
Yeah. We've had issues this last couple of years with our jobs not doing well with withholding the correct amount. And so we've ended up owing quite a bit these last couple of years, and that just sucks. to have to pay out of pocket just to file, and then the federal and state government come down and say, hey, you owe us a bit more, actually.
Just kidding.
It's a pain.
Just
But
kidding.
hopefully that's not going to
Give
happen
us
this
more
year.
money.
And depending on how it does happen, we're going to both go up to our respective employers and say, hey, can we increase the withholding, please?
Yeah.
I think I do an additional $20 withholding just so I make sure I don't have to pay.
Yeah, that would be good. I need more CPA friends.
It is a good thing where you can go in and you can go, hey, I'm going to pay extra now just so I don't have to worry about it and get it back later.
Yeah.
Granted, you are letting the government hold your money. But
it's like a forced savings account.
Yeah. I'd rather let the government hold my money for now than have them come back at the end of the year and be like, give me $500, and me look at my bank account like, but I don't have $500.
Yeah, and historically, I am bad at holding on to my own money.
We're Magic players.
We're Magic
surprise,
players.
Surprise! It goes to cardboard and other hopes and dreams. Yeah.
True.
Taxes.
Well,
what a nightmare.
If you guys have any tax questions, please feel free to send them over to us at manabonded@gmail.com.
Dude, we will not give you any good tax
information.
I will happily respond to each and every single one of those emails with, this is not financial advice.
No, absolutely.
Legally,
this is the correct disclaimer. Yeah, we cannot give financial advice, but you should totally spend all your money on reserved list cards, and because they're only going to go up. To the moon, baby.
Stonks, baby, stonks. Diamond hands.
Anyway, I think that's
just send us your social security number and the last 4 digits of your credit card, and
yeah, what could go wrong?
Nothing's gonna go wrong.
We'll do your taxes for you.
Yeah.
The IRS accepts payment in Magic cards, so just remember that.
If you don't want to send us tax questions to our email, you can always send us normal questions about Magic the Gathering, about social situations you run into. If you want our advice or you want some input on how to handle these situations or how you maybe should have handled situations, you can send those over to us at manabonded@gmail.com. You can also send them over to us on any of our social media channels. We are accepting DMs from people who have good questions for us. We will happily answer them and work them into the podcast.
Yeah,
or if you're a member of the Tayam Discord and you're like, man, that sucks, I wanted my question answered, we'll also answer that one for you.
Yeah, well, dude, just put them in. I have no problem turning this into a Tayam podcast, and if these two don't stop me, I will.
I will stop.
All right, someone grab the leash. Pull him back.
Do we need to switch this Who's in the Dungeon?
Yeah, no. it's Josh Dungeon time.
No, Zach, you can try, but you're not getting
Zach
out.
Freedom.
I'll lure you in with the Mistborn or the Emerald Sea books.
Yeah. Come get
Zach gets freedom. We're giving Zach a 1 week freedom for his wedding, and then he's going right back in.
Yeah. Well, I thought we were giving him 2 weeks so that way he could have his honeymoon too.
Oh, that's
We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't submit the correct paperwork, so
based on behavior.
Yeah. If you like the music at the start and end of this podcast, you can check out Steve Brown. You can find his music at stevebrownsongs.com. He's a fantastic musician who is able to make random movements of your hand on a string of a guitar into something beautiful. And I can't do that. So,
talking about random movements of your hand, another person who's talented with that is the person who did our art, Shadow Aclopex. You can find his work at the description down below and our links. He is open for commission, so if you want some cool artwork done, go ahead and reach out to him.
And again, if you want to message us on any of our social media channels, we do have a link tree to make that a little bit easier. So that'll have like our Twitter handle, our Instagram account, Blue Sky account, things like that, all for easy access. I believe we briefly mentioned opening up our Discord at one point. We are still in talks about that. We will let you all know if that happens soon. So, again, thank you all so much for listening. If you've liked what you've listened to, please do leave us a review on the podcast app of your choice, the one that you listen to the most, and a couple you don't. Sneak your mom's phone and go onto Spotify, look us up, leave us a 5-star review from her phone. She'll never know, and it won't negatively affect her. It's a perfect plan. We all benefit.
Yeah.
And if you're a Tayam player, review us 3 times. Because it costs 3 to activate your mana cost.
Exactly. Leave us a comment if you're a Tayam player and let me know your favorite pet card for Tayam. no matter how weird or uncalled for it might be. Mine for a long time was Spore Frog, because Zach here used to play a ton of
baby.
Winota. And so I played a ton of Spore Frog because I hated his Winota deck.
Yeah, that was rough.
Good times, good times.
Good
Anyway,
times.
well, that'll do it for us this week, and we hope to see you guys next week. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for listening.
Good time for the end.
Bye.
Now, I have heard people walking across the U.S. That's pretty wild.
Hey, Tom Hanks did it weekend too.
That's
Side-
right.
This is maybe too much of a side tangent. I'll save it for a blooper. But did you know that there was a guy who, back in like 1995, some British dude out drinking with his buddies. He was in his 20s, and they're like, hey, they had this conversation, and they don't know how it quite came up because they were all drunk. But basically, one of them bet the other that he couldn't walk from the bottom tip of South America all the way back home to Britain. And the other guy was like, bet. And so since then, he has been walking from the bottommost tip of South America all the way back. He doesn't,
Nice.
he hasn't like done it all in one go, I think he's like stopped, but he has to always resume from the point he left off. He can't use any form of transportation besides his feet. He once got jailed in Russia, and to avoid Russian borders, he had to swim across a sea. Just supposedly,
Just normal things.
this started back in about the mid 90s. He will be getting back to England sometime this fall.
Excellent.
It has taken
Only
him,
took him, like,
that long.
30 years, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just crazy. Some people, man, I just have so much determination in them.
Yeah.
Well, I can't tell if it's
I don't have
determination
that
over
level of,
stubbornness, but either way. I've never felt they impact the game in an interesting or fun way.
Did you just die?
Did I cut out there?
Did he cut out for me? He cut out for me.
He cut out. Yeah. You cut out for a second, but if you're recording it, it should be good still.
Yeah, it should still be good. All
I
right,
thought it was me, 'cause I was cutting out a lot on.
I thought it was me
Friday.
too.
sorry. I'll make sure my Wi-Fi is connected to the right. Yeah, I'm on the right
The
network.
Wi-Fi is connected to your router. The router is connected to your power source. Power source
Power
connected
source
to your
connected to the grid.
energy grid. The energy grid's probably not a very safe place and probably a chance of being attacked.
Probably. So what do you
and if you're in
guys?
Texas, you probably don't have lightning. Hashtag tech support.
Dude, I've been tech support my whole life. Why stop now?
True.
I am currently tech support.
I was almost
Also
the
true.
IT guy for our company.
Nice.
But instead they picked a guy who vibe codes everything.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Placebo buttons.
Placebo?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you
Not-
said a
not the
different
s-
P word,
Yes,
and
yes,
that would
I
have changed
heard a
the
different P
whole. That changed the whole thing.
What did you think I said?
A thing
Pussy.
that also is yeah.
That's what I thought you said. Pussy.
Placebo button.
Pussy bow button, and I'm like, what?
No,
Yeah.
That's a button and a half right there. I think that's just called the clitoris, Joshua.
Yeah. I'm
Where?
saying, like people would like buttons a lot more if they were that.
yeah.
no.
That's why I was like, oh no, placebo button makes more sense.
Yeah. It's a placebo button.
Yeah.
Placebo button.
We got a fun
That's a blooper.
Blooper, yeah.
a fun.
I need a
blooper for
Staples
this
button
episode.
that just I can just smack in the middle of recording. That's a blooper.
That's a blooper.
That's
Yep.